Good afternoon and welcome to Alfred Music's webinar series, Learn, Teach, Play Online. My name is Michaela Graham, Senior Event Specialist for Alfred Music, and I'll be running everything in the background for our session today. We are thrilled to host today's Alfred Concert Band new music reading session. And without further ado, I would like to introduce our wonderful presenters today. We are joined by Chris Bernotas, Director of Instrumental School Methods and Repertoire for Alfred Music, as well as composer, conductor, and clinician Vince Gassi. Chris and Vince, thanks so much for being with us today. I will let you take it away.
Thanks, Michaela. My pleasure to be here.
Yes, thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. And thanks, Vince, once again for joining me this year for our live event. It's actually interesting to be live, but not really live. So awesome. Thank you so much for everyone being here. And we're going to get right into things with our brand new submission page that I wanted to share with you. So Michaela's going to share that up on the screen. We do actively accept unsolicited submissions. As soon as you see it on the screen, you're going to be like, wow, check it out. There it is. So you go to alfred.com/submissions, and then you click on Submit Music. Click that little Learn More button, and that will take you to the music submission page, where you're going to get a great welcome message to encourage everyone that is a musical educational writer to submit music for our consideration. As you know, we have limited space in each year's catalog, but there are opportunities that do exist. And if you never try, you'll certainly never get accepted a piece in the catalog. So you have to go for it. This page will give you a lot of helpful information about the types of music that we are accepting, which catalogs are accepting music. And also when you click on those guideline links, you're actually going to get a PDF that has a lot of really helpful information to give you a better shot at making sure that your work meets the type of thing that we do publish. So I just wanted to draw your attention to that, to let you know that there is opportunity and that we certainly encourage everyone that is excited about writing music. Some of the best educational music comes from educators themselves. So go for it, give it a shot. And the next quick thing I wanted to point out to you is a smart music product that we have that is under the Sound Innovations umbrella, and it is called Sound Innovation Soloist. This is exclusively in smart music, and in your handout, your PDF handout, is an active link. If you're logged into smart music, when you click that link, it's actually going to take you to the search window for these SI solos. This was something that was a long time coming, but was a catalyst was a lot of students being at home practicing by themselves. So we have over 30 composers that have contributed wind, brass, and percussion solos, snare drum solos, and mallet solos to practice at home to develop their individual skills. They're original solos. They're very fresh by a huge amount of writers. Look at the list. Look at the writers as they slide by the screen here. The contributions are fantastic. The concept behind these was to have original literature, but in addition to also have teaching concepts with it. So each solo has preparatory exercises with scales or phrasing, articulation, skills that are needed for those solos to try to help support students in their individual musicianship. So when you have a chance, check out Sound Innovation Soloist right through Smart Music. I think you're going to love them. They've been getting a lot of play and people are really enjoying them, and we're super happy to have them. And in fact, Vince is one of our top contributors to that, and I'm so happy that he agreed to do that. All right, how about we get to the music, shall we?
I'll be introducing the first tune, I believe.
You are, Vince, and I'm going to go away. Bye.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Chris. So our first tune to kick things off with is a wonderful piece by Robert Sheldon called A Woodland Celebration. And this is a perfect piece for first-year band students. As soon as they can play a concert B-flat scale and learn the note A-flat, this piece will be easily playable. The second clarinet stays under the break. The second trumpet and horn have a limited range. And Robert's writing is always tuneful. He had some really nice, easy suspensions in the section at measure 21, if you're looking at the score. And you can hear these subtly stated counterlines throughout. Everyone gets to play something melodic, which is really nice for a grade 1 piece. Good things always flow from the pen of Robert Sheldon. Let's have a listen.
Always great music from Bob, and it's just such a pleasure to hear it again, because we worked through these pieces a long time ago. So to hear them again as we're sitting here live, it's nice to re-listen. This next piece is called Cool Breeze. It's one that I wrote. It is a grade 1 piece, and we're going to share the screen again so you can see what comes with these pieces. All the pieces that are in the Sound Innovation series come with what is called an educational pack, or we call them an ed pack. And you can see that it comes, you're allowed to photocopy this for all the students, and it comes for treble clef, B flat, E flat, F, and bass clef to share with your students. It includes about the piece, some suggested listening, about the piece itself, about the composer, a little form and analysis, definitions and articulations and dynamics and all the music that's in there. And then there's usually common themes that are written for everyone. This piece, Cool Breeze, the focus of this piece is to give your students an easy piece for making up some solos and improvising. So in this piece, you'll see at the bottom, scroll down to the bottom, you'll see the blues scales that are written there for everyone. So in this section where there's an improv section, you can repeat it as many times as you want to give students that ability to play a solo and build their confidence. Or you can have these two, scroll back up a little bit, there are 2 written solos on the ed pack. So if you want to help somebody get to that next phase where they're not quite confident yet, but you want to give them something, there are 2 written out solos on the ed pack, but in their pieces, it's all open so that you can assign solo to whoever wants to do it. So it's a grade 1 piece in the swing style, very modest ranges. It's a fun bass line. And again, the main point of this is to give your students a form of expression. Go for it. That's my theme, I guess, is go for it. Give it a shot. What have you got to lose? Music is where we all live and care for each other. And if you're going to try something new and get it wrong, do it here when you're amongst friends. So here is grade 1, Cool Breeze.
That is an awesome piece. Okay, up next, Return to Camelot. Scott Watson is the composer of this piece. It's at the grade 2 level, and it really has a medieval feel to it. And how does he do that? 3 things. 1, modal harmony. 2, bongos. And 3, a lyrical section labeled Lacrimoso. I love it. Scott presents this cool rhythmic figure at measure 4 that's modal in nature. And it makes me think of medieval knights. And then at 15, over that ostinato, he introduces a very nice sustained line in the woodwinds. Bongos, which I love, happen at measure 33. And so the percussionists have really some very cool parts to play, varied in this piece. I also love that he labels this lyrical section lacrimoso, brilliant. And there's a lot of energy in this piece, and students will love playing it. So here is Return to Camelot.
What a great piece. I also love the roadmap in that. You have to go back and you have to follow it around. And I think kids need those kinds of opportunities to learn how to read the roadmaps in music. Great job, Scott, as always. Our next piece is by Kelly Duggar, and it is called Monsters Unite. This piece is just so engaging in so many ways. I find it to be very creatively written. It's the monsters gathering together, and it's marching along as they're going to unite and take over the world. So it's grade 1. I love the opening themes. The opening marking is called Sneaky, and it sounds very sneaky. It's got very transparent orchestration, which is very inviting at this level to really expose kids to their own individuality and their own. They have to build confidence in order to play it. So I really like the orchestration. Everyone has an engaging part. The teaching pieces that I wrote, I have a little notepad, by the way. The teaching tool things that you can focus on in this is balance, because of that orchestration, staccato markings, dynamic contrasts, and I also want to point out that there's an optional flexitone or theremin part in this. So many things I love about this piece. I think you're going to love it too. Let's give a listen to Kelly Duggar's Monsters Unite.
You gotta love a piece where you get to scream at the end. That's awesome. Next up, Cataclysm of the Cosmos by Amy Webb, grade 1.5. There's a nice pulse throughout this piece that the percussionists provide, and Amy calls some of these pounding eighth note strikes. I love that she includes the use of a tam-tam. And I also love the internal moving lines, at measure 12 and 20, for example. The section marked Dolce at measure 39 is where Amy sets up this really nice floating sensation, and it, you know, resolves a little further along at measure 51. It's very subtle but really effective. The momentum picks up again and takes us to a cataclysmic finale. This is another one that percussionists will particularly enjoy playing. Really nice job, Amy. Roll 'em, Michaela.
That is a driving, amazing piece. Ooh, I'm out of focus. Whoa, am I blurry? Anyway, I'll stay blurry. There we go. I just figured out one of the things I really like about that piece, and it was great to collaborate with Amy and learn about the piece and how she wrote it and working through anything with it. But that accent on beat 3, I think, is what keeps it driving forward. That very hardcore kind of a rhythm, and it just really keeps it driving forward. Kids and teachers are going to love it. So many great things to teach with that. Speaking of teaching, what a challenge all the teachers have been facing the past couple of years. Teaching from home, teaching at school, teaching in both places. As a parent, I do want to say thank you. My own kids have gone through this back and forth with school, and the need for flexible instrumentation has been a long time. It's been out there for a long time, and it's really great. Now we are providing flexible opportunities for you. Mikhail's going to screen share our page for this. Last year, we released 21 flexible titles between Alfred and Belwin with a variety of styles, concert, contest, pop, and all different levels, grade half all the way up through grade 3, to try to give teachers a wide range of literature to choose from and maximum flexibility. Teachers really wanted to be able to use any combination of instruments, all parts, all instruments, and that's essentially what we provide with this. We do have specific parts for tenor saxophones because they mess up the B flat range, and we also have specific parts for the strings. They're not just a treble clef part for the violin. It's actually a violin part with bowings and fingerings, really thinking about that student that plays violin in the band, and they need that guidance. They need that extra help, and the director needs that help also in order to help communicate how to play the parts. Teachers wanted some support on how to use flexible instrumentation music, so we provide a teacher map. The cool thing with the teacher map is you have a menu of the suggested instrumentation. You have what the score is actually showing in the middle, the flexible options, and on the left are the part assignments. I don't know about you, but I would forget who I gave what part to what. Play first part for this, or you're going to play part 2, you're going to play part 3. The way that we have this, you put this on the score, you line it up, you stick a piece of tape on it, you write the names on part 1. That way, as you flip pages in the score, you can see who's actually playing what part. Just one little extra thing that we thought we'd provide for this. So anyway, if you go to alfred.com/flex, you will see all the 21 pieces that are available in this format. This year, we'll be releasing some best of Flex pieces. So we have the brand new 21 pieces that we just put out, and then you're going to have some Belwin and Alfred best of titles coming out in this format. So thank you for your support, and thank you for doing everything that you've been doing. Teachers, administrators, anybody that might be listening, students, it's not easy, and we're all excited to continue to make music together in whatever way life wants to throw it at us. Music will kind of see us through it all. All right, I'm going to kick it back to Vince, who is going to introduce his awesome piece, Retrograde.
Retrograde. Okay, I never backed down from a challenge. Well, I never did take the ice bucket challenge, but anyway, that's another story. So one day, my lovely wife, Allison, suggested I write a piece entitled Retrograde. Not wanting to back down, I asked myself, what would a piece with that title sound like? One thing led to another, and before I knew it, there were little retrogrades running all over the place. Not only in each individual part, but between the parts. And the challenge was to make it full of retrogrades, but still craft it into a musical piece. So it drives throughout, and it even has a calm lyrical section, which is also filled with retrogrades. Now, kids, I think, are going to have a lot of fun figuring out where all these retrogrades are. I kind of think of it as a musical Where's Waldo? All right, we'll see what you think. Okay, Em, fire it up.
Well, that ended early. We're going to leave you in suspense. Retrograde is a cliffhanger. That's the thing that we didn't tell you about that piece. But one of the things that's awesome about that piece and with Vince's writing is I love how the voices interact. Again, there's transparency in his writing. I'm going to talk about him like he's not here. There's transparency in his writing, and his C section or his A sections, when it comes back, if it's an A, B, A, his repeat of the A section is always different. And I always look forward to see how he's going to manipulate the music in that way. So awesome job with that, Vince. Thank you for sharing that one. Another composer that I love the way that he writes, and I'm sure lots of you do too, is Todd Stalter. And Edge of Adventure is a grade 2.5, and it's got a lot of these Stalterisms that we love. It's got energetic, percussive types of rhythms, and it's also balanced with some sustained and legato types of passages. Excellent for teaching about musical textures, contrasts, tension, and release. There are plenty of technical challenges in this piece that your kids are going to step up to the plate and hit a home run with. Here is The Edge of Adventure.
Another great piece. I love all of these pieces. They're so good. As Chris said, I wish I could play all of them, every part. So next is Tension, which is a grade 2.5 piece by Jorge Vargas. And Jorge starts off this piece with a very interesting syncopated figure that reappears throughout the piece. And one of the really interesting things is at measure 5, he crafts musical ideas that are sometimes displaced across the bar line. And I just think that's amazing. It's not everything has to line up on beat 1. I love it. I also love that the low brass and woodwind get to do some interesting things. For example, at measure 23, it's, you know, It's good for them to have melodic things just as much as any other instrument. And we'll hear some very effective interplay of not one, not two, but three melodic ideas at measure 30 and again at measure 40. And listen for some gorgeous writing at measure 63. There's a lot of great stuff in this piece for students to work on. And Jorge has done a really nice job on this. Okay, hit it, Michaela.
There's so much to teach students in that piece, and there's so many texture changes. I love it. It reminds me, and the word tension reminds me of one morning when I dropped my daughter off, Ashlyn, to school, and her band they had practice, they had rehearsals outdoor under a giant tent. And I armed her with some words of wisdom that day that I dropped her off the first time that tent was up. I said, Ashlyn, you guys have rehearsal in that tent out there today? She said, yeah, Dad. I said, all right, well, here's your job today. After you're done, when class is over, I want you to go up to your director and say, whew, today's rehearsal was very intense. Yeah, that's the same reaction she gave me. She didn't, I don't know if she told her teacher that, but anyway, moving on. This next piece is a grade 3 by Adrian B. Sims, who is a new writer for us. Wonderfully talented writer, just fantastic to work with. And the piece is called Beyond Reach. And it is very cinematic in nature. A great thing to do with this piece would be to play it for your students and have them imagine their own storyline to it. There's so many thematic elements to it, so many texture changes and mood shifts, tons of percussion involvement, which is fantastic. The things that I wrote down, let's see. I got that cinematic with mood shifts, great melodies, unexpected harmonic shifts. There's places in this where he goes places that you don't expect, which is very exciting and makes it really interesting. A great teaching moment for this is that it's in a very fast 4, and it switches between, it could be in a fast 4 or a cut time feel throughout the piece. So you would figure out where that would go, and you teach kids about how to feel the differences between those. Fantastic piece by a fantastic writer. I hope you enjoy Beyond Reach. So much to love about that piece. I cannot wait to hear groups do that everywhere. It's fantastic, and I'm so excited to be able to present that one to you. This next one is one that I wrote. It is called Golden Celebration Overture. It is a grade 3, and it was a commission in honor of the 50th anniversary of Parsippany Hills High School. It was really an amazing celebration, and the piece was played by all the district bands together, and it was just a night that I'll actually never forget. It was such an honor to do it, and to experience that piece being performed live by all levels of band was fantastic. It does open with a fanfare-like section, kind of depicting the pride and strength of the school district. Then there's a reflective melody that is thinking about the history and kind of how far things have come along in those 50 years. And then there's a faster section with a lot of playfulness to it, some rhythmic interjections that are fun and thinking toward the future and celebratory in nature. So here is Golden Celebration Overture, Grade 3.
I love that piece, Chris. It's so great. There's so many things there that are happening, like independent lines and beautiful harmonies and, accompaniments on beats where you don't expect it. It's just really, really nice. So next up, our penultimate piece to present to you today, another Scott Watson gem called Gift of Hope. And it's a grade 3.5 level. Music is about being expressive, and this piece by Scott is very, very expressive and uplifting. I love that it's written in 6/8 time. There are a lot of really nice musical moments in this piece, and it gives kids a lot of opportunity for expressive playing, like the lovely woodwind writing at measure 26. And Scott has crafted a beautiful theme and counter theme. Watch out for this at measure 42. It's beautiful. And it just sets up this very positive energy. The section at measure 82 is very poignant and again expressive, but there's the independent lines really come out here, and that's great for kids, you know, to be able to work on. I could tell you about so many more beautiful moments in this piece, but I'll let you hear how gorgeous it is. Awesome job, Scott. Let's enjoy Gift of Hope.
Fantastic piece by a fantastic person and a great writer. Scott, that is a really wonderful piece, and I kind of wish I was still teaching because I would, without a doubt, program that. Another composer that, without a doubt, I love programming his music is Rossano Galante. Arabian Sandscapes is a grade 4 piece that has all the Rossanoisms that we love. It's got fantastic cinematic themes. It's got amazing mood changes throughout. He's got technical runs and acrobatics that are always so fun. I know my tenor sax players and my euphonium players always used to love Rossano's music. There's always challenging and interesting parts for everyone, a ton of adrenaline, and just your imagination can go wild with this. So here is Arabian Sandscapes. So much excitement in that piece. Students will love practicing it, and teachers will love teaching it. Vince, why don't you pop back on? I want to thank everybody for joining us today, especially Vince for being my co-host here, Michaela for
Always
running
a
everything behind the scenes. So Vince, thank you so much for being here.
Always a pleasure, Chris. And I want to say hi to my good friend out in Oregon, Casey Kincher, and Sabrina Marchion in Mississauga, and Sashi Ramu in Toronto, and my director and my cinematographer. Oh, wait, wrong speech.
That's all right. They love you. All right, that's it for us. We're going to pass it back over to Michaela for our last notes. And thanks again, everybody, for joining us.
Thank you both so much. Thank you all again for joining us today. We will see you next time.